That's a little bit. No, you don't like it? You don't like it? No, 20 seconds? Don't you didn't love this song when it came on?
Wearing my
No! Oh, wow. Hey guys, I know, right, thank you Liz. Thank you Liz. I appreciate it. Guys, 929-477-3886. We're about to start right now. We got to get off the respect song. Here we go. Ready?
better get an eagle for respect.
Pretty people, pretty life, pretty deuces. Hey, this is your favorite girl, Millie in the city, with my beautiful co-host,
J.V. Jones.
And look, we are going to, and welcome to our talk radio show, Connect the City. On this show, we're going to cover the entire gamut, guys, on politics, entertainment, relationships, celebrity and trendy news, and current events. And we're going to connect it all to the city. So let's jump right in. The topic for tonight is... we're jumping in, JV. We are jumping in because is sexual misconduct the new black? I think harassment is a better word, like you said, but misconduct is used for the sedity rich folk.
One thing about it encompasses everything, so.
It encompasses everything. We have an amazing special guest. And our special guest is going to be Rosalind Ray. She is one of the top entertainment attorneys. She's with the National Bar. I'm very, very excited to have her. Oh, she said she's going to break it down.
Yes, break it down.
And so let's get started, guys. We've got callers coming in. So the last four digits of 8624. Caller, you're on with Connect the City. May we have your name? Turn your radio down.
Okay.
That's what happened to me last week, but at a higher level. Yes. So we'll wait for Rosalind to give a call in. You know, the definition of sexual misconduct and harassment it's just so many things. I remember you sent me something about what sexual misconduct really, really is, guys. And why is it different from harassment? Mine is off. Yeah, mine is off. Why is it different from harassment? And so is my ringtone. So, JV, what do you think like the difference is? Because misconduct, I think, is for the sedity folks, and this is off as well. It's for the sedity folks, I think, but harassment is in the workplace. Would you agree with that, JV?
I guess so. I thought it depended on basically what the offense is.
What the offense is. Okay.
Yeah. How offensive the offense is. So you're saying it. See, I thought it was the misconduct was just a cutesy kind of word to me. To be honest with you, I'm gonna. That's what I think. No, my understanding is misconduct includes the harassment. It could be rape. It could be a lot of different things. So I guess that's a way of just encompassing all of it in one.
Right. So basically we keep hearing these words over and over again: sexual assault, sexual misconduct, and sexual harassment. The definitions, they said, are clear, but interpretations can get a little murky. So sexual assault and sexual harassment fall under the umbrella of sexual misconduct that covers sexual behavior. The Department of Justice defines sexual assault as sexual behavior without consent of the recipient, like rape, like you were saying, attempted rape or molestation. How do you feel about what I just read to you, JV?
Oh yeah, definitely. I wholeheartedly agree.
You wholeheartedly agree with that?
Wholeheartedly.
And so right now you've seen so many things going on. I can't wait to get our special guest on to talk about these things. But okay, so we have everybody on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live. I can't wait to get her on because she really was going to break it down for us about what it really is, because she really had some things about people people accusing, and that may not be maybe 30 years ago. Do we even want to bring up Bill Cosby at this point? See, we could argue all day about that.
We're going to give Bill a break tonight.
Should we give Bill a break? Is it because he's black? I mean, you know, I just don't know.
No, only because there's so many people to talk about.
Right, and he was about to buy News 4, and we won't get to that. So, look, hey, let's see if we can get our...
Hey, JoJo. So, do we want people to maybe call in and talk about some
yeah,
of their
guys,
experiences?
I think they do, because I think...
I'm sure it's a lot of y'all out there that have, you know, had some kind of issue at work or, you know, social gatherings and whatever the case. You know, these bosses, I tell you, they may go a little overboard. So please call in. You can be anonymous. You don't have to state who you are. So we're fine with that. But yeah, I want to talk about it. And I actually had a situation on my past job as well. So I guess when we get a chance, I'll probably go ahead and talk a little bit about that as well. But I think a lot of women, you know, and I'm going to put myself in that category, just don't want to say anything. We don't want to lose our jobs. And really, I think that's what a lot of it boils down to.
I agree. Sexual harassment basically is the unwanted verbal or physical behavior. Did you see the guy? We'll talk about that hashtag in a second. But did you see the guy who groped the girl on video? He just said he just had to touch her butt. Because so that's like groping, but you didn't even know her. And the key word I think that they were saying is unwarranted. It's really unwarranted because, what did you see the video where he just grabbed her butt and his excuse was, I just had to.
And I'm sure it's a lot of those out there. A lot of those situations.
Oh my gosh.
I've even had my breast grabbed before.
No. So a person may tell a person to stop, but they don't care to be spoken to that way. However, it's really the responsibility of the person who is doing unwanted talk or touch or behavior that should be responsible for behavior. And that was explained to us by Katherine Johnson. She's the director of the Guilford County Family Justice Center. So, God, it's just such a big thing.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine. So, guys, we need y'all to call in. Raquel, JoJo, Lewis, Thomas, any of y'all, even if you weren't personally someone, you might know family member, wife, husband, well, yeah, men too. I'm not going to say they don't get sexually harassed.
I sexually harass them all the time.
Not as much as the women, but I imagine that they do, you know, they do.
Yeah, but does it matter to them, though? If they see, there's the thing. It's like men, and we won't get into that, though, will we? Because they might be offended at us. Because I just think, I just can't see men being sexually harassed as much as women are. Maybe it's just me.
Right. Exactly.
So we do have a caller in with the last 4 digits of 8624. Caller, you on with Connect the City. May we have your name, please? Turn your radio down. We have you in here, but can you hear us? Okay, so maybe they just want to be silent. I just think they want to be silent. I have no idea, and that's okay.
Maybe they butt call.
They didn't butt dial us. You know, the thing about it is that with the sexual assault, there's no limitation on reporting it. There's the biggest issue. There's no limitation on reporting it. That's the biggest issue.
Okay.
So if someone has experienced sexual violence years ago and they want to come forward and support that, they certainly can do that, Johnson explained. And there's the biggest issue, I think.
Now, is that state by state or is that
period? That didn't say state by state. It said period. Because, well, it has to be the right thing because 30 years later, don't get me, I mean, even Russell Simmons, we'll talk about him in a second. But someone came after he has found, you know, pretty much enlightenment, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you know, be careful what you do because it just may come back to haunt you.
That sucks.
Such is life.
Such is life. This sucks. So we don't have we do have.
Hey, Terry.
I can't.
Hey, Daniel.
Nothing's lit up. I'm not in. So what we do have is, let's try to take a quick little break, and then that way we'll see what's going on. We'll be right back, guys.
All right.
JP.
Yes, sir. Connect the city.
Connect the city, guys.
Oh, wow. Oh, great.
Oh, great.
Nice. Can you see that on there? Because I can't see it on here.
Yeah, I can see it on the videotape.
Yeah, you can't see it on here.
Can you see it on Millie's?
Huh?
Can you see it on Millie's?
Just move that over.
No, it's too wide. I got it.
Yes, this is the number she gave me. I think this is her right here. She said, I wrote the number down. This is right. This is wrong right here.
Is that your answer? No.
She was down finishes.
Try it.
Well, no, I'm already in now.
Behind the scenes,
I don't know yet.
guys.
Oh, call in 929-477-3886. Are you done, Daryl?
Call in 929-477-3886. Guys, call in. Give us some information.
929-477-3886.
Any sexual harassment that may have gone on. Issues. Hey, Melvin.
Hey, Melvin.
What's going on?
Ready? Welcome back to Connect the City. We are talking about sexual misconduct. I am Millie in the city, your hostess with the mostest.
I'm JV Jones.
And so we have attorney Rosalind Ray. Miss Ray, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you
Yes.
now. How are you, lady?
Girl, I'm doing great. I came over here to Benny Hanna's, and then I'm walking out so I can get on here and say a few words.
Oh, that is
Alright.
great. You know, I don't. Did you
We
get?
like
Did you get?
Benihana.
Right? Did you get an invitation, JV? I don't know. Did you get an invitation,
We'll
JV?
be down there right after the
Right
show.
after the show. Wait for us, Miss Ray.
Girl, let me tell you, I thought we were going to be here at 5 o'clock, but as you know, people of color tend to be on their own time.
CP time. Well, we were giving definitions of sexual misconduct. So we want you to
Oh, wow.
call her with the last four.
You know, you guys are talking about sexual misconduct. Now, in the District of Columbia, it is, you know, I tell people all the time when you deal with law like D.C., New York, and California, the law changes by the time of the day.
Right.
In the District of Columbia, they have different degrees, and they call it sexual assault. And they have first degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree.
So they have.
It's an interesting situation because I know I told Millie when she called me about this, I said this is a situation that, depending on who you're talking to and their upbringing and their background, people see things differently.
Yes, that's what we see.
And what I find is people of color tend to be a little bit more lenient with the way that they may hug somebody or embrace somebody. They're not taking offense to that. And it really depends on who you've been around and, you know, what you feel is acceptable.
Right.
Because in a workplace, for example, there's been many a time where it'll be somebody you're really close friends with, and they may come over and put their arm around your neck and say, hey, how you doing today? Whereas another individual you could do that same thing to, and they would say that was an unwanted touching, and it becomes, in their mind, an assault. But the part that has been the most amazing to me, which I told you, Millie, I don't understand how in the world as many women as have come forward were able to be quiet. It boggles
Exactly.
my mind to think that many people didn't say anything. Because by no means Well, I believe that what happened to them was right, because if one was wrong, if they back the factor as they stated them. But to hold yourself, I can just in seclusion and not say anything, that boggles my mind. Does anybody else who's listening today feel the same way? Because I cannot believe that they said nothing. I mean, that's a lot of women.
What you're saying, like nothing in the, because we wanted to talk a little bit about Bill Cosby briefly, but definitely Russell Simmons, some top executives who just had to relieve themselves of duty, right, JV? Harvey Weinstein, and even Donald Trump. Can we get to Donald Trump and not be in charge?
You're right, and the Bill Cosby situation bothers me tremendously, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because I wasn't around during that time, but I understand from what they were saying that everybody was popping pills, everybody was getting high, and if everybody's high, and everybody's popping pills, everybody's drinking, who is to say that Bill Cosby was not raped? So it becomes a situation of if everybody's incoherent, how in the world is everybody now able to give a clear and concise story?
That's true.
Me. That's
Well,
bothersome to me because you're telling me everybody's high, but now 30, 40 years later, people are giving me vivid, illustrious. I just don't understand. How are they telling these great stories now about what happened if everybody's high? That's what's bothering me.
Well,
So I don't know, none of us were there, but it just is very, very curious to me that Bill Cosby would not have made a claim himself because it just seems very strange that people would go up. Number one, if somebody says to you, let's go up to the bedroom and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't think it takes a genius to understand that more is going to happen in the bedroom than just talking at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just reality.
We just gonna lay together.
So those kind of things are bothersome to me. It's just like the Mike Tyson situation years ago. That was very baffling as well because I could not understand how a person rode with him and decided to go upstairs into a room at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then all of a sudden wants to cry rape. And once again, we weren't there, but it just seems to me that you're consenting if you're a consenting adult of age and you go with somebody, you already know that you've consented, but unless they're doing something like he would have to beat you up, tie you up or something, then that's wrong. Definitely. If he's forcing himself on you or whatever you say, no, that's absolutely wrong. But it's just bothering to me, all these circumstances that we keep hearing about. And like I said, nobody's coming up and talking about it just 30, 40 years later. That bothers me tremendously because women are known to talk. That's a fact. So I cannot conceive of that many people. Even if 10% of those people spoke, it would make more sense to me. Because at least you would have had 15 people saying something. But these are mountains of people. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
well,
So it's always been baffling to hear these stories. And you don't doubt the stories. It's just amazing that nobody said anything. That's the thing that's amazing to me.
Attorney Ray, I have a quick question for you. This is JV.
Yes.
My question is, what about when you decide that maybe after all you don't want to have sex or you don't want to and you say no and then it's forced on you anyway?
That, I would say, is absolutely wrong of the person who's trying to force that on you. And in that case, I believe that it's an assault. Because in the District of Columbia, an unwanted touching is an assault. As a matter of fact, I want to, let me look so I can read you some of the things that happened with that. Hold on.
We completely appreciate that. We do have Melvin on the line. Melvin, I need you to turn down your radio or get any background noise. Are you on with us this evening?
I am, but I don't have anything on.
Yeah, at first you did. Whatever you got in the background, we can hear you. But
Do you have a comment that you want to make, Melvin?
before Miss Ray, Attorney Ray, my apologies, makes her comments.
No, I'm just kind of baffled how everybody's just coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden. Not one or two, but just literally just coming out of the woodwork just all of a sudden. It's just like it's a trend now.
That's what she said, yeah.
And that's,
It's totally a trend. And you know, in America, we're a very trendy country. You know, when one person do it, everybody else follows suit and does.
And see, Melvin's saying what I'm saying because to me, I can't understand that delay. Now, in some cases, I can because people are afraid of their jobs. But like Melvin said, everybody's coming out the woodwork. So at some point, how do you continue to believe, or what do you do to try to figure out who's not really telling the truth? Now, in the District of Columbia, what I was telling you all is it's a misdemeanor at the top of the list. When you start talking about first degree, it becomes a situation the person can be charged with assault, and it's punishable by life imprisonment. So just think about it. If these people are coming out the woodwork and they don't perhaps tell the truth, somebody can lose their livelihood, lose their freedom because somebody lied. And that's something else that you have to be faced with because sometimes people do things as a vendetta.
Right.
And if they do that, then you have people who suffer. Because for years we have fought cases in court where individuals did have a problem where they got accused of something, and unfortunately the scale always tips in the direction of the woman. Because right now, if somebody were to call the police from their home and say, this man assaulted me, the police will show up at your house and arrest the man. That's unfortunate because it could have been the opposite way around. And so those are the kind of things that you're faced with when you're dealing with these kind of allegations.
Right.
So, Melvin, your call is very well received because certainly the amount of people that have come up with these causes and claim that these things have happened, sometimes some of them are suspect, and the problem is how do you decide who's suspect?
But counsel also too, sometimes the accusation is worse than the actual act.
Oh,
You're
yes.
right.
Yes.
I agree with you. And then the sad part, like I said, you're talking about misdemeanor, you're talking about first degree, second degree holds up to 20 years in prison. So if a person sits up and says something about you, you could serve 20 years in prison for second degree. And then third degree is up to 10 years in prison. And like I was saying earlier, I kind of was feeling sorry for Bill Cosby because I'm going,
I felt
it's
sorry for
always
him as
all
well.
up high. Who is to say what really happened?
I agree. May I ask you a question, Attorney Ray?
Didn't he admit?
Yes.
Yeah, I hope I'm saying this right, and if you can correct me on my slight ignorance, I'd appreciate it. But this is what I don't understand. It just came to me, and I know we discussed a little bit of this. Let me read you something, and then I'm going to ask my question. It says sexual assault. There's no limitation on reporting. So if someone has experienced sexual violence years ago, they can come forward and support that. They can certainly do that. Here's my question. There's no limitations, but you can get up to 20 plus years is what you said. Okay, but there's a statute of limitations.
No. Let me correct you on that.
Okay.
It depends on the jurisdiction. You really have to go to the statute in each state. Because if you remember on some of the cases that have recently come up, some of the people were able to actually file because their limitations were different. Right. And then some people didn't have the right to file because of the statute of limitations.
Okay, so that's
on where
incorrect.
you are.
So that's incorrect because what the information, the research that JV pulled up for the show was there's no limitation. That's why a lot of people are able to come forward. But if there's a statute of limitation on rape, there's a statute of limitation on a lot of things. I guess there's my confusion. Why it seems that in a lot of states there's no limitation and you can do these things because all of these people weren't charged 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They were charged 20 plus years ago. And now they either have to quit. I mean, the Russell Simmons story, it's so many. I can just run down the list. And now the new person that's been charged is Seal. Anybody know Seal? Seal is a singer, songwriter.
But you know what? Again, it goes back to the statute for that jurisdiction. Because it's just like if somebody filed a negligence cases. Some places give you longer than D.C. D.C. has 3 years, but there's other places that may do 4 years. So again, it depends on where the alleged crime took place and what the statute says with regard to that crime, because everybody has a different definition. He calls it sexual assault. So, it depends on what they call it and what they are saying on the guidelines.
Where did the Attorney Ray? Where did the word? Because I've always thought, and I've been in the workplace in the corporate world, it's sexual harassment. Where did the word? And I just haven't heard it until now. Where did the word sexual misconduct come from? Is that a nice little bow tie, a nice little pink bow tie, put on the word harassment?
I have no clue where they came up with that name. I can only tell you that based on what I see in D.C., they keep calling it sexual contact or sexual act or sexual abuse. Those are the categories that they do it, but they put it all under sexual assault. And really, I think it doesn't matter. It's almost about what do you want to call it? I mean, people call it whatever they want, really. It just goes back to the statute again. What does that jurisdiction call it? And what is the crime that you commit and how many years do you get for it? How do you prove it? Everybody's got their guidelines. But again, I told you all this earlier, and I've always stood by this. It just seems like, and I've got to go with your caller, it just seems like there's an awful lot of people that are coming up all of a sudden with these alleged things that have happened to them. And to me, it defies logic in some instances that many people have said nothing. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot. Yeah, I think Melvin just said it was a lot of people. We think it's a lot of people. And this isn't 5 years ago. And the corporate is different from, the corporate world apparently is different from the entertainment industry. Someone told me about couch interviews. I guess we won't get into that, but it's just so annoying about the couch interviews.
And I'm going to tell you something. A long time ago, I used to represent Moses Malone with some things, not in
Love Moses Malone.
Career, but Jeff Malone, Muggsy Bogues, a bunch of older players. And the one thing that they were good at is understanding that you have to put yourself in places where you're not going to be subjected to a possible situation. It just seems like back in the day, those guys, they had, when you go into those leagues, they actually had people that teach you about avoiding those kind of circumstances. So it just seems like maybe those things could happen again in the entertainment industry, because it's almost like don't put yourself in a place where you could be faced with a young lady that perhaps doesn't see something the way you saw it, and then ends up saying it was rape. So you got to be real careful, because it's just really treacherous out here right now. And when you're talking about money makes people do some things that
Yes, ma'am. Amen. Hallelujah.
Who has perhaps morals that are a little different would not put a man at this. And it's a whole different world in that entertainment world, because
yes,
a lot
ma'am.
of people are trying to, make a come up, as they would say. If they see an opportunity, sometimes they may do something that's not right, and then they put the guy or the woman in a situation where now they look like they've done something wrong.
When it could have been consent.
I don't think that these women are realizing that they're destroying these men's lives by lying.
Exactly.
They don't care.
No, I agree with you, Melvin. They're destroying a lot of lives.
And don't get, and I don't want the crowd to get me wrong. I'm not anti-women, because I love women. I'm a heterosexual man and I love women. But wrong is wrong and right is right.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't think you're coming across as that. I think you're doing the same thing as most people, if they really think about it, are doing. It just begs the question of why have so many people waited until the last minute. And I know we've heard the rationale, I thought I would lose my job, or I thought this would happen. But that's bothersome to me, because the women that I know are so aggressive and assertive that had that happened to them, I don't believe they would have sat back and said nothing.
They would have consulted.
So one of my Facebook...
Again, I think it has to do with background, because a lot of people, depending on your culture and the way you were brought up, I was brought up in a strong household with a strong mother, a strong father figure. And I just know that depending on how you were brought up, I have a brother, I've got cousins that were all men, so my attitude was a little different. I know that I believe that if somebody had sexually assaulted me, I'm the type that would have gone straight home and told my mother, because that's just who I was, and still am. So it's just, I really think it has to do with, your surroundings too, because some of those girls, if you check their background, some of them came from broken families, some of them came from families where they only had a mother, some of them may have only had a father, and a lot of times you may be very passive and you're not really assertive and you're not saying too much, you're afraid to talk. So there's a lot of factors that weigh in on these girls, and I bet if somebody did some kind of survey, you would find some similarities among those who said they were afraid to say anything.
But also, too, Counselor, I put us at fault too as being men, because a lot of times we put ourselves in these type of situations to become victimized like this.
Exactly.
And then a lot of y'all just doing it, period.
Let's not forget that.
Let's not forget that.
That's not, JV, repeat that.
Right.
JV, repeat that.
A lot of men are doing wrong. They just are.
They are too
so
wrong.
We're not going to say that all these women are lying and men are putting themselves
in
situations.
There's probably a lot of them are telling the truth, but I agree with Melvin that it's just there's so many of them that at what point do you lose faith in the truth really coming out? Because some people could be jumping on the bandwagon for something that now they're trying to make into a situation. And that's the part that's bothersome to me, because I don't want to see an innocent person be dragged through the mud and they really didn't do anything.
Well, I'm going to speak personally. First, I just want to say that one of my Facebook people said her friend's nephew is doing 8 years now because the girlfriend cried rape. So we even got those kind of situations
when he comes up.
But I still say a lot of times no means no. And I think a lot of us feel like when we're in the relationship, we married or whatever it is, that we are entitled, that this is mine, and whenever I want it, I can get it regardless. And when a person says no, that means no. But anyway, I'm just going to say real quickly on a personal level that I to this day have... One second. Okay. I to this day still have not reported what happened to me, but it was on my job, and it was the director of administration, and he felt me up and down, squeezed me real tight, felt all over my breast, and it just like shocked me, really. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. Nobody was around. I couldn't tell anybody because I'm thinking to myself, wow, I need this job. I need this job.
Yep.
I got family. Like, what am I going to do? So to this day, I've never reported that person. Never. And he did it twice.
What?
Yeah, he did it twice. And it was like so quick and caught me so off guard. It was like I couldn't say nothing. And then he went on about his business. And then what am I supposed to say? Oh, the director of administration.